Yeah, enough with those rocks. Today, I'm actually going to be cutting these 5. So this first one, this is a random rock found in my yard that I thought, let's just cut it in half and see what the inside looks like. Experiment. This one, it looks like it does have a bunch of crystallization on it. So again, maybe the quartz, there's maybe some chalcedony in there. But then you have the wavy, kind of just has like the waves going on with it. So another one, honestly, just curious to see what that might look like on the inside, and maybe we do have something. This one, I believe, is the pisolite. Kind of has like a purple bluish kind of color to it, and then all little circles, which I've heard the term vesicles, but I don't know if that term applies to these as well, as they're not like, at least as far as I can see with my eye, they're not like crystallized circles. Maybe there's a couple in there that you can tell with the eye they're crystallized, but I believe, again, that's pisolite. And the last 2 are just these agates with the quartz and chalcedony, and they do have a little bit of that rose quartz. So hoping to see some really nice colors on these 2 once we get them cut open. So that's what we're going to be working on today. Let's do it. Alright, so just to show off a couple of things. This was the second saw blade that I started to use. It's a 7-inch diamond blade. My first setup here is with this smaller Harbor Freight lapidary saw, and it does go up to 7 inches. The only downside is you only get, I think it was like 1.25 inches that actually sticks out. So you're not getting a lot of room to actually cut bigger rocks. So likely I will upgrade my saw here pretty soon. And this other blade that I'm trying or testing out was an old blade that my dad actually had. And so I'm just testing it, but it seems like this blade has more of these ridges on it, you can kind of see there, versus this blade. And so first 2 rocks cut up there, and I'll show those to you guys a little bit later. Those ones I wasn't really expecting anything crazy to be on the inside, but I'm noticing that this blade just chunks up the rocks more, since it's not as flat as like this blade here. So I'm going to try to do these ones with this blade still. It is quicker. This one does cut quicker, but if I was going to be trying to cut anything really nice or anything that I really wanted to try and protect and I didn't want it to fall apart or break or anything, I likely am going to try and use that blade instead of this one. So just a tip, I guess, something to share, and we'll see how these next ones go here.
Blind or do you stop pulling?
And make sure you wear protective eye gear so you don't lose an eye like I did. Oh, look at that one. That was just another test one just to see how this bigger blade would handle it. And it looks like it worked out pretty well. I'll get some better pictures. It's too dark over here. All right, so we are done cutting those rocks, and I'll go over and kind of talk about some of the things I'm noticing between the different blades that I'm using, because the ones today got pretty beat up as far as chunks just being taken out of them. And so first here, I'm just going to show you guys a few that I had cut previously. And these were actually just cut with a 7-inch diamond blade. The first one I had was the one that came with my little lapidary saw, and so I had upgraded it to this one. This one worked really well. This one cuts clean. It seems like all the cuts are really clean. It is thinner, which I know I've read about as well, because then the thicker your blade is, you know, the more of your rock you're going to lose. So I really like this one, but it seemed to go slower. So you just had to take your time. Maybe it took me twice as long to cut some of these rocks using this one. So I'm still going to hold on to those ones, and just to show you some of these initial ones that I cut open just for fun. Super cool looking. Looks like some basalt with just a bunch of quartz in there. Maybe some, I think they pronounce it plagioclase, plagioclase. Some iron with the red, and just a lot of other cool looking blues in there and stuff. So cool rock. Next ones, these I actually just pulled out of my parents' yard because I was like, I'm curious to see what the inside of these look like. And just your typical, I don't know, looks like a sandstone. On the inside you got like a little, maybe some mica, and the little quartz sort of in there. Vesicles, I think that would be a vesicle, that one too. This one, you can see just a bunch of little quartz fractures and cracks in there in this one. Again, just another little sandstone rock from their yard. And then, yeah, the coolest one that I had found from their yard was this one. It has all the different layers of the pink and some cream and the white in there. Yeah, so you can definitely find a lot of small little rocks that just look super cool on the inside. I really like that one. I wish it was bigger. But let's take a look at a couple of our chalcedony ones that we had cut open as well. With this blade, you can just see these were not cut today. So these were cut with this this diamond blade, the thinner one that I have, but it's just super clean cut. Milky quartz, I think is what they would just call these, or because it's chalcedony with quartz, maybe just a milky quartz. I like that one. Little orange and pink up there as well. This one had like a little geode pocket, and I think I maybe showed this in another video. The blue was from that blade, so that's not part of it, but yeah, super clean cut. Looks nice. All right, so to go on to our ones that we cut here today. And first we had, this was just a rock I found in my yard, and I thought it would be cool just to cut it open and see what it looks like. It did have, looks like some of this, maybe some magnetite on there, or mica, I think. And then on the other side, I know I was seeing some pinks, so maybe some feldspars, and there may be some K-spar on that side. But let's take a look at the inside, because it's boring. No, it looks boring, but you can kind of see the pink in there. So I think that would be the K-spar, potassium feldspar, and then just a lot of the white quartz, maybe some plagioclase. I think I'm pronouncing that one correctly, plagioclase. I feel like people pronounce them differently. But as expected, you know, that one wasn't much. So I had a couple of these agates that had, you know, basalt on one side, and then your mix of the chalcedony some iron. See the red there. So let's take a look. Now these ones were cut with the bigger blade today, and you can tell, sorry my hand's shaky a little bit there, you can tell the cut was not as clean. You can see the ridges in the cut there. Beautiful colors though with the pink and the red. And that one I really like the red on that line. So the hope would be to kind of clean this up to where it's polished and flattened, and then hopefully bring out some of these other darker red and pink colors in there. Same with this side. Did have a darker red band over on that corner. So yeah, hopefully you get to polish these up and then see what other colors you might be able to pull out of them. All right, this next one, similar rock. This is the other agate that had the quartz kind of banding going through it. And just to show you the difference. So this blade, this was the blade that we used today that has, it's thicker. Look at how much of the rock is missing. You know, it's like I lost chunks of this one just due to the fact that they were just breaking off as I was cutting it. So if you do have any precious rocks that you're really trying to hold on to, or maybe you do want them to turn into something nice and you're not really looking to lose your rock, definitely don't use the blades that have the ridges on them. Definitely want to have a thinner blade for that. But look at this one, super cool on the inside. Sorry, you can kind of see the scratches from that blade. I do want to try and cut this one down, only because I feel like we're still seeing just a lot of the basalt or the igneous rock here, and we're not really seeing a lot of the banding from the chalcedony and the mix of all the other minerals in there. So this one, again, I might try and thin down a little bit just to see if I can get some more colors out of it. But nice rock. All right, last two. I do not know what to call this one. Similar case though. We did lose a big couple chunks out of this one just due to the blade and the pieces kind of breaking off. And I literally was just looking at this formation yesterday where it's kind of more wavy. Like the formation of the rock is a little bit more wavy. But let's take a look. The inside, wow, look at this one. It's like a hamburger sandwich. You can see the bands of like the quartz or chalcedony running through there. Got the red with the iron. Not seeing too much of anything else in there. I really do like just the way the layering looks on it. And then on this one, you get some of those darker red, pink, orange, the white from the quartz. Super cool rock. I really like this one. I like the outside of it just because it looks rugged, and then you can kind of see even the quartz and stuff on the outside and the bands there. So super cool rock. Like that one. And lastly, we have our, I believe, pisolite. And I'll try and show you that part first. So you can see you have your salt or rhyolite, your igneous rock on this side. And then going over here, we do see some quartz kind of going through there. And then you have the, what looks like blue when it's wet. And it does look like there's a bunch of little vesicles on here. So that might be the quartz that's making those little, all the little circles that you see on there. There's a couple on this side, like that one right there. I can definitely see all the quartz in it, you know. But then all these other ones, are really faint, really hard to see, but you can still see the circles. So I don't know if we would classify these as vesicles as well, or if just that would be classified as a vesicle with that quartz there. But let's take a look at the inside. Oh, cool. So you can see, set that one down. Sorry, I needed to adjust. So right down the middle, you just have your big band of that quartz. It kind of splits the piezoite. I really like how this piezoite looks, and then even with the iron, I'm assuming from the red there. Maybe this is one I'll practice with and try some of the iron out just to see, you know, what we might be able to pull off of there. But super cool looking on the inside. I really like that. If you can get that in like slabs, that would be a sweet rock. And here's the other side. You can see the blade on this one where it cut. And that's the other issue with having a small lapidary saw right now, is some of my rocks are just bigger than 1/4 inch, I think is the highest that you get out of the top of that table on with my blade. And so upgrading will definitely be happening here in the future. So heck yeah. So I just want to show off, these are our first rounds. Again, I was kind of testing with that other blade here today just to see how it would turn out, and it does work. I like how quick that thicker blade does work, how quickly it can cut through the rocks, but it's just not going to keep your rocks looking in a manner that you may want them to once you're done cutting. So keep that in mind if you are looking into rocks. And then I do want to do a quick overview of my setup as well, just so anyone who might be getting into rock hounding and wanting to cut up rocks, even if it's something simple like this, like what I'm just doing here for fun, just to show off some other tips and some things and what you might want to consider before going out and buying anything. All right, so I wanted to kind of go into a deep dive on my setup with this saw. Now, I do not plan on holding on to this saw or using this saw a whole lot much more going forward, because I think I'm just going to be upgrading to something that's a little bit bigger and better as far as how much access you're going to get to the blade. And so some tips: if you're new and you want to start getting into rock cutting, you can find cheaper saws, and that's kind of what I started with because I wanted to learn the basics. And one important thing that you'd want to look for is how much your blade might stick out of the top. Now, most of these are probably similar, so you may find a 7-inch or a 6-inch lapidary saw, and it might be a similar case where the blade it may not come out that far. And so this one, you're kind of restricted to doing, you know, smaller pieces. So that's definitely something to look for. As you get into the higher, larger saw blade sizes, you know, those machines are going to be running a little bit more. I think the next one that I want to look at getting was like maybe around $250, $300. But it looked like you could use up to a 10-inch blade. So that's what route I'm likely going to be looking at. Secondly would be your tub with your water. On this one, in the beginning, I had to figure out this whole spray nozzle thing, water bucket, water pump, to just spray water onto the blade, because when you fill up the tray, and this is a different tray than what came with this machine, but when you fill up your tray, the blade is going so quick that it just shoots all the water out of there, and so you end up having no water, and then you're just having to refill your tray over and over and over and over, and it's such a pain in the ass. So look for that as well. This one said it was supposed to come with a hose and a tube and all this stuff. Didn't come with it at all, so I had to kind of make all this up myself. And then the last thing that I did on mine, you know, they have this on here, and it's supposed to help protect you and your hand. If you're using a diamond blade, don't touch them on purpose. Obviously you don't want to hurt yourself intentionally, but you cannot, they can't cut you. This one with the ridges, I don't know, this one might cut you, so I'm not going to touch it. But I initially took this thing off because it was in the way, but then water is just splashing everywhere, so I put it back on there to help prevent some of the splash coming towards me. And then I also installed this little plastic panel just on the end. I screwed a couple of holes into the metal and then just put that plastic piece there, and that's just a splash guard so it doesn't get me all wet. So that is my initial setup. And if you're looking at getting into this, starting small I think is good, because you do get an idea of how the process works and how the saw works. Cutting the rocks, you always want to go against the blade, another tip there. And so if you want to start small, you know, you can definitely find something at a cheaper cost. I think this one was only like $80 at Harbor Freight, so definitely something that you could get to get things going. And then as you start to learn more and maybe finding bigger pieces too, then upgrading down the line, and that's what I'm looking to do. So hopefully this video was helpful, and hoping to do some more rock cutting. And then obviously once I get upgraded machine and things like that, I'll be showing that to you guys as well. So thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. See you next time.